Church is messy, but at the foot of the cross, it makes everything make sense.
Yeah.
I mean, he's addressing things that you don't get anywhere else in the Bible, and his answer for all of them is the cross of Christ.
James, here we are talking 1 Corinthians.
Yeah.
I need you to explain yourself.
We're just jumping right in.
We are about to spend almost 7 months in a letter written to the most dysfunctional church in the entire New Testament.
They are.
Why?
It always makes me feel better to read 1 Corinthians.
Is that why we're doing this book?
Maybe so. Maybe so.
So we can feel better about how Paradox is going as we read about the dysfunction in Corinth.
Yeah, maybe so.
I love, we have a preaching team here at Paradox, and you lead the preaching team. You come to us with ideas, and so I already know some of these things. But
yeah,
for the rest of the church, what was for real, what was the inspiration? What made you go, this is the book for us for the next 7 months?
Yeah, I mean, we in part because it was a New Testament letter that I wanted to preach a New Testament letter.
Sure.
We preach through books of the Bible primarily, and then every once in a while do some topical series that we just want to, things that we just need to address or whatever it is. And we actually did 1 Corinthians early years. So I've done the book before.
Whoa.
And this was pre-James.
Whoa.
Right. Things existed at the church pre-James. I know it's hard.
No.
There's post-James, pre-James.
PJ.
And we're so glad that you're here. But yeah, so it was just, it's a fun, so it's a New Testament letter, wanted to do a New Testament letter, but it's talking about the church.
Yeah.
And it's a messy church, and it covers, it's as relevant now as it was 2,000 years ago, because it's talking about, divisions in the church and what do these new Christians do with their sexuality? Yeah. And some of them are suing each other, and what do we do with spiritual gifts, which is one of the questions we get all the time.
Yep.
And because everybody's got or many people have an experience with the spiritual gifts.
Yeah. And
it's just great because you can almost just point to this letter and be like, the majority of the New Testament is Paul correcting people's wrong thoughts around things and wrong practices around things, and essentially just answering emails. That's what we do. We answer people's emails, and that's what Paul is doing. It's interesting because actually 1 Corinthians is him literally answering a letter that they had written to him.
Yeah, right.
And you'll see him in the book sometimes in the letter quoting their, this you asked this question, so let me answer you. And then also he got this report from Chloe's people, and so he's got all this information coming to him, and so he's just responding to all of the mess. And so it's a messy church, and you just sort of learn, like, at the foot of the cross, all of that mess gets put. It just makes sense.
Come on.
Like, what do I do with my sexuality now that I'm a Christian? Well, at the foot of the cross, you see, I was bought with a price.
Yeah.
My body is not my own. That's 1 Corinthians 6 and then 7. There's all these divisions. It's like, I follow Paul, I follow Apollos. This is my, famous Christian influencer. This is my famous preacher. This is my denomination. This is at the foot of the cross, everything is ultimately centered on Jesus. And so it's a messy church. The cross of Christ reorders everything, makes everything make sense in a world that right now doesn't make that much sense.
Yeah. I'm already comforted as I hear you talking about it. I'm like, man, it's nice that there's nothing new under the sun. We had somebody speak to our staff this morning who said, nothing that I say today will be new. It will all be familiar because it's all been done before. And you're right. We are still, we got a 1-star review on Google before we came in here.
I saw that.
Yeah. So we're still getting emails about how we're doing as a church.
It was a nameless.
There was no name.
Yeah.
And no comment. But
we're grateful for all the feedback.
Thank you for all the feedback all the time. Email me, james@theparadoxchurch.com.
Please email James.
Yeah, email me. Yeah. We're going to talk through the different sections that we're exploring this book. But if you had a big picture hope for how this shapes and influences our church. You know, we look up in April 2027 and say, man, we are different in this specific way. Is there something that comes to mind?
Yeah, I mean, I think the big one is just that our people would see. I mean, I feel like this has been a theme the last few years, but just that the scriptures become the interpretive key to our lives. Like we go to the Bible to make sense of things.
Yeah.
And you know, I think just with again the polarization in our culture, in our world, in our churches.
Yeah.
With the confusion, with all the things that we're actually facing, and all the information that's out there.
Yeah.
You know, so there's so much information, so much data. Can we go to the scriptures to make sense of things? And so specifically the things that we'll talk about, you know, in the book, the divisions and sex, singleness, marriage, and what do we do with Christian freedoms, and how do we love our neighbor in the midst of that? The weirdness of some of the spiritual gifts, like some of that stuff, but really just anything. Like how do we look at the scriptures as the answer to our problems?
Yeah, we don't have a knowledge problem anymore.
Right.
We don't have an information problem.
Right.
Anybody can ask any AI anything that they want to about anything.
Yeah.
So what is your source of truth? How do you interpret that source of truth?
Yeah.
How do you think critically? How do you be wise? Those are some of the things that I get fired up about when I think about our church.
When you think about our people right now, like snapshot the Paradox Church, besides the 1-star review, it seems like things are good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of, overall as a church, I feel like we are the healthiest we've been, and there's
Amen.
Wonderful momentum, and the Spirit is present, and yet because church is messy, and sinners are messy, and people are messy, we are messy, your shirt is a little bit wrinkled. Like when you think about our church right now, and the people and some of the stories that come to mind, how does some of this intersect with you? Like, what is your hope, or what are you hoping that, I don't know, some things get addressed, or I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, to repeat what I just said in a different way, like I just had a care meeting before I walked in here to record the podcast, where trying to help a couple that's struggling in their marriage, and wanting, like you said, wanting the Bible to be at the foundation of how they think through that struggle and what their next steps are. And you can go talk to a counselor who will tell you, oh, you need to get out of there, or you can ask AI and they'll tell you something. But how do we retain our humanity, our spirit indwelledness, like the wisdom that comes from the Word and the Spirit? How do we be sanctified more and more to be followers of Jesus who try to be faithful to that in the best way that we can? I think that's something that sets the church apart from any other organization, any other tool, any other software, right? It's spirit-empowered human beings who are trying to discern God's word and act in a way that is pleasing and brings him glory. So, I think exploring these topics will help us in that as a church. Yeah. Okay. Talk to me about this church, not Paradox, the church at Corinth. So Paradox is we think we're doing pretty well, although we tend to see some of the issues pop up when we talk about them, like happened in Job. So how did this church get planted? Who were the people there? Paul's writing them back. How's he feeling towards them?
Yeah. It's funny because, there's two letters, obviously, 1st and 2nd Corinthians. In 2nd Corinthians, he at one point says, hey, I'm going to come visit you. Do you want me to bring a rod? Or do you want me to, like, do I have to drop some fools?
Right.
So it's interesting. It's actually comforting me that he writes 1 Corinthians, which is a beautiful letter, but it apparently didn't work. It's comforting. It's interesting. So if you look at
per my previous letter.
Yeah. Some scholars think there was actually 4 letters.
Oh.
Only 2 made the Bible. Some think that perhaps the first letter was just him Xeroxing a middle finger.
To the spam folder.
Yes.
Holy Spirit said,
went to the spam folder. He never sent it. In Acts, so he plants Corinth in Acts 18. In Acts 17, it's interesting. He comes off of this high, spiritual high in Athens. So he he gets to speak at the Areopagus, the Apostle Paul. So he gets invited to speak at Google or Harvard or something like that.
Yeah.
It's where all the philosophers and all the people would meet and gather and hear about new things. And he has this amazing speech at the Areopagus in Acts 17. And so then he leaves and he goes to Corinth and he runs into a couple that also make tents. He was a tent maker, and starts preaching the gospel, and people start getting saved.
Yeah.
Really interesting. And then I think two of his boys come, maybe Silas and Titus, if I remember right. So he's got Silas, Titus, he's got Priscilla and Aquila, and he's got a good crew with him. He's not alone, and he's per usual begins to preach in the synagogue to the Jews, gets rejected, and says, "I'm going to the Gentiles." That's typical, and it's really cool because he goes to the next door. He goes next door to this guy's house, and he's preaching there. And the text says many of the Corinthians were saved. Many believed, and he's starting again per usual, getting some resistance. And this really cool thing that happens is God shows up in a vision at night and says, "Don't be afraid. Keep on speaking. I have many in this city who are my people."
Yeah.
I have many in this city who are my people. And it's really cool because Jesus in John 10 says there are many that are not of this fold.
Yeah.
I need to go to them.
Yeah.
My people will hear my voice.
Yeah.
And they will come.
Yeah.
So he says, Jesus shows up to Paul in a vision, says, "I have many in this city. Keep on speaking." And I've just always loved that. Like I've always said that about Fort Worth. Like the Lord has many in this city.
Yes.
And we can get 1-star reviews, and we can get resistance, and there's constant discouragement to battle, and we have our own sin and our own problems. But the Lord Jesus has many in Fort Worth, and so we have to keep on speaking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, that is the thing that will keep all of us going in this. It's not about when we get caught up in the politics, when we get caught up in when your church is just growing from transfer growth. We talked about that. There's nothing exciting about that to any of us. What's exciting is when people come with an encounter with the living God, and their lives are changed.
Yeah.
That's why we do the work that we do. And so I'm sure that all the discouragement that Paul faced, all of the ridicule, all of he had to write a second letter, but it's all worth it for what's the verse? The surpassing grace of knowing the Lord, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what we're in this for. So, okay. So that's how it gets planted. He meets some folks. He starts evangelizing.
Yeah. So he stays, I mean, it's not super clear, but he's there a few years.
Okay.
Or a couple of years at least. And so it's a good crew that gets planted there. and then he bounces and he leaves, and then finds out what some of the mess that's left there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it was a good plant, and it just needed some watering and weeding after he left.
It reminds me of when I owned a home one time and rented it to some friends and moved to Denver and came back to visit over Christmas, and I was like,
a little different.
What happened to my house? Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to write first Lepine to these guys and say,
right.
Yeah, clean this place up.
Yeah.
Okay. He opens this letter by calling them saints. He thanks God for them before he corrects a single thing. I think that's just an important note for us as pastors, is that even in all the struggle, these are the saints. These are the ones in whom the Lord delights.
Yeah.
And
it's interesting because Philippians, when he writes to the Philippians, you can kind of hear his heart. He loves that church. He delights in that church. They were not as messy. I'm sure there was a mess. There was some division between these two gals, Lois and Eunice. But he's like he just in his language, he's just talking about his affection. I have the same affections for you as Christ, And with Corinth, again, with the Corinthians, I don't know that I think he loves him. I'm not sure if he likes them. But in the gospel, for him to say, for like the first, like he's reminding them, and I wonder if he's reminding himself, these are saints.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, these are saints.
Yeah.
These are Christians. I remember their life change. I remember they actually received the gospel. I remember these things. I think, yes, I think it's primarily for them to hear, hey, you're saints. I wonder if it's also good for Paul to remind himself, these are saints.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
These are saints.
Yes. And I don't know why this is what came to mind, but sometimes that's the thing that helps me in my marriage or in my friendships or in whenever there's strife or difficulty in those, it's like, hey, this is my wife.
Yeah.
I am her husband.
Yeah.
Neither of us are going anywhere. So in light of the fact that that's true,
Right. Right.
how am I now going to deal with this
Totally.
in a way that honors God? So
Totally.
yeah, that's good, man. Okay. So that's a little bit about the church, how it got going, his writing to them, why he's doing that. If you could, and this may be impossible, I don't know, but if the whole letter has one argument, could you summarize it? Is there one thesis, one?
Yeah, I think I alluded to it earlier. I think it's that church is messy, but at the foot of the cross, it makes everything make sense.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, that's essentially it's as cross-centered of Paul's writings as maybe there is, which is, all of his are. But he continually goes back to the cross, back to the cross, back to the cross as the answer to all of their problems and all of their issues. Think about it. There's some crazy stuff. Like, there's the head coverings, famous head coverings. Women should wear head coverings, is 1 Corinthians 11. One guy is sleeping with his stepmother in chapter 6 or 7. It's even his, I think the only place in the Bible that talks extensively about being single and not married.
Yeah.
He's addressing things that you don't get anywhere else in the Bible, and his answer for all of them is the cross of Christ. And so that's gonna be a huge theme throughout the series for us too.
Yeah. Maybe you remember somebody called the cross the great leveler of humankind.
Yeah.
And I don't remember who exactly that was, but that concept has stuck with me of like, no matter how much you have or don't have, no matter, it all gets leveled out
right
at the foot of the cross. We are all made sinners in need of grace at the foot of the cross.
Yes.
Which is why I love that moment for us on Sundays to come forward and take communion.
Yes.
Every single week we come forward in unity and remember we are all sinners in need of grace.
Yes.
And so, the cross of Christ. Let's go. Okay. Tell me a little bit. Yeah. Okay. So you mentioned that. How does the cross apply to whether or not I should sue somebody?
Oh, yeah.
How does it apply to whether or not I should eat something or?
Totally. Specifically in that instance, his argument is, it's not so justice. He's not saying you shouldn't have justice.
Yeah.
So we've had this, by the way, in our church, and I can tell the story because it was a long time ago.
PJ? Pre-James?
It was pre-James.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But we had two church members in a civil dispute.
Yeah.
And I don't think either one of them are still here, and it's an old story, so I can tell it. But basically, kind of typical, like contractor, like you said you would do this and you didn't do this, or you didn't do the job, and now that kind of thing. And you absolutely could sue in those kind of instances.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So he's not saying don't seek justice. He's not saying just eat it. Now maybe the Lord calls you to just lay down that right.
Yeah.
I could fight for this $2,000 maybe, or $5,000, whatever it is. But I'm not going to. Maybe the Lord calls you to do that. But it was, why would we go into the world and adjudicate this dispute when we can do that in the church?
Yeah.
And Paul's argument is, don't you know that we're going to judge the angels? So, whatever that even means, at some point, Christians get to judge angels, and decide which angels were good and bad and do something about it.
Yeah.
He's like, if we get to do that, don't you think we could handle this thing in-house?
Mm-hmm.
And so, the cross absolutely speaks to that. I mean, the cross is the very perfect picture of justice being met, but also grace and mercy being meted out.
Yeah, right.
And so, that's how we should then act in the church.
That's so good.
Yeah.
So So that's one of them. But we've got this divided up into 5 sections. So I'm looking at the different movements. And part of the reason that,
let me talk about that.
Yeah.
This it's basically one series, 1 Corinthians, but there's 5 miniseries.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of reasons why we wanted to do that, but the letter really breaks up neatly into that, so we can just sort of focus on the theme over a few weeks or 5 or 6 weeks, and then move on to the next theme. So the first sort of mini series is a church divided, and you've got all kinds of divisions. That's what he's addressing in the first maybe 4 or 5 chapters of the book, and they're fighting over all sorts of things. And if there's anything more relevant to what's going on now in our world and in the church, I don't know what is. Right. So that's going to speak to that. And then we spend a couple of chapters and maybe 4 or 5 weeks on sex and dating and marriage and divorce. And just spend some time there, letting the Bible again speak into things that we have questions about. And even just the idea of, there's going to be, it'll be in the Bible, and Christians who love the Bible will struggle that it's in the Bible. And so that it's funny. This is written to a church that's really messy. We're going to talk about it, read Paul's answers, and it's going to do the same thing that it did there. It's going to create more of a mess. You know what I mean?
Why did you pick this book again?
Because it's fun. And so pre-James, Ryan Keeney, our first church planter, who's also our first staff member and our first pastor besides me. We would, and I'll change the language a little bit because this is public, but he would joke that what I do versus what he does. What I do is stand up there and like preach and, or write stuff, kind of to the masses. And then he kind of comes alongside as the more counseling pastor, people pastor. It's very Nehemiah 8, like Ezra the priest reads, and then all the priests come along in the languages and they give the sense. They take the Bible and they take the message and then apply it to people's lives, right? But the language that we would use in the office was just essentially, how do I say this without saying it? It was just, I make a big mess and he has to go clean it up. Yeah. So you're welcome. Okay. So the first miniseries is a church divided. The second one is sex, dating, marriage, and divorce. The third one is freedom, love, and wisdom. So that's chapters 8, 9, 10, 11, where Paul is talking about, we have these Christian freedoms now. How do you deal with meat sacrificed to idols? And we'll take that and make that make sense in Fort Worth in 2026 and 2027. But, and then, head coverings and how do we think about food and the Lord's Supper and wine, and like, how do we think about some of these things? So we have this freedom, but then we're all supposed to use those fruit. We also have wisdom. There's a couple of times where he'll say, he'll quote something that they said in their letter to him, I'm free to do this. And he's like, yeah, but is that wise?
Right.
You might be free to do it, but you might be free to watch whatever you want on Netflix, but is it wise?
Right.
But then also to consider love. I might be free to do this, but is that loving my neighbor if I do this? I might be free to do this, but is that the way to be a witness to the non-Christian or to love my Christian brother? So I think that's really good. The fourth mini series is just called The Church Empowered, and that's where we cover the chapter 12, 13, and 14, and the spiritual gifts and the work of the Spirit. And we're going to do a prophecy night, I think, next spring as well when we hit that, because we're 7 months, I think, in this book. And then finally, the last couple of chapters, we'll just talk about the resurrected life, and we'll talk about the resurrection and all that means, and Paul's closing thoughts in chapter 16. So we'll break it up in those 5 mini series, and that'll keep us going over those 7 months to where we don't feel like we're in it forever.
So August 30th through Easter, basically.
Something like that.
And we've got a church divided, sex, dating, marriage, and divorce, freedom, love, and wisdom, a church empowered, and the resurrection life. So we will be coming back with more podcast episodes with each of those mini series to be able to talk through them in more specific. So we won't spend more time on it now, but we will come back with that. Okay, let's do a little straight talk.
Straight talk
You like
with James Lepine.
Straight talk wireless, is that?
What does that mean?
Wasn't that a T-Mobile thing or something?
Oh, I don't know.
Boost Mobile, maybe?
I don't know. I mute commercials.
Yeah, I know that you don't get nervous, but if hypothetically you were to get nervous, is there a passage that you look at this and you go, I don't know how I'm going to preach it? Well, you already preached it.
Which one?
You already preached 1 Corinthians, PJ.
I have, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, here's what's hard as a preacher, and part of the reason why we're doing the podcast is so here's what we didn't say up front. Like, we want to do this podcast over the course of the series, but do it post those miniseries.
Yeah.
You know? So here's what we talked about, and we're going to answer some of your questions, and we'll solicit some of those, and there'll be some things that I just don't have time to unpack fully.
Sure.
And that's the frustrating thing about preaching is I've got, 45 minutes, you know?
Yep.
And before the kids ministry and the kids teachers and parking becomes an issue and all of that. And you want to be able to honor the text. I want to be able to just do what the Lord's called me to. Like, the best sermons they're not trying to cover too much ground.
Right.
So I think there's going to be places along the way, like head coverings, like women staying silent in 1 Corinthians 14, areas like that where it's like, man, I really want to spend more time in this, and I'm not going to feel, I know I won't feel like I did.
Mm-hmm.
So that I'm not nervous about those, but that'll be hard work. That'll be, and then this podcast hopefully will act as a supplement to be able to unpack more of that, explain more of that, talk about more of that, answer some of those questions. So I'm looking forward to those things. But I maybe not anxious, but just anticipating that it will create more of a mess.
Yeah.
It just does.
Yeah.
Anytime you're preaching, anytime we're spending time on Job did this, when you start talking about suffering, and suffering gets stirred up and questions are asked, and now we get to minister to people.
Right.
But that's hard, and that's sad, and that's, it's good and right and healthy for people to face some of those things and have to deal with some of those things. And I'll just, like, for anyone that's listening, that maybe you're a leader in the church, maybe you are, or you're just a brother or sister that's going to be a part of some of these conversations. It might be helpful to just talk through a few, like, pastoral things we've learned along the way.
Yeah.
When somebody starts asking a biblical question, or they're frustrated with a biblical reality, just know they're always coming at that, not from a theological brain, but from I'm a human.
Yeah.
And there's something human underneath that question. Yeah. There's something human underneath, like, why, I don't know if I like what the Bible says about women or head coverings or, spiritual gifts or sex or whatever it might be. And just know, like, the solution isn't just to get the Bible right, it's to get, people right. The solution isn't just, here's the verse, here's what it means, believe it or die. It's, hey, here's the cross, here's what it means. Go kneel before that. Again, everything is meant to drive us back to Jesus and the cross and all that means. Mm-hmm. So I just think pastorally we'll be reminded of that. And I want to make sure our people are reminded of that, some of the stuff is going to create more of a mess than we already have. Mm-hmm. And that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, you made me think of, like, problems to solve versus tensions to manage, and a lot of adaptive leadership is just, I'm thinking about our city group leaders right now, leading discussions after sermons like these. There will be things that'll come up where you'll want to give them space to breathe. Yeah. You want to jump in and say, hey, can we pray for you on that right now?
Yeah.
I remember when we were in city group together, that was something that would happen a lot.
All the time.
Yeah, it's just, hey, let's not move past that moment. Let's not get the next update. Let's camp out there for a minute, pray for these folks. And so just allowing space for the Spirit to move, work, heal, for there to be forgiveness. I think there will be great fruit that comes from this series because of the things that get dug up.
Yeah, totally. Sorry to interrupt.
No.
If you are a leader, there's a great little book by D.A. Carson called, I think, Cross-Centered Leadership, and it's based on 1st and 2nd Corinthians.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's awesome. Yeah.
Crossing
awesome.
Yeah. I read that a long time ago. Okay. All right, straight talk. That was a straight talk question.
Do I
have one
James
more?
Lepine.
Straight talk with James Lepine. Yeah, I'll ask you one more. We get a lot of folks who come to Paradox a little beat up, a little bruised, maybe.
Sure.
They've had some church conflict. They've had, often when people, if they're not coming to church because they're becoming a Christian, they're coming to church because they were displeased with their last church or they moved or whatever their reason is. But for somebody who's been involved with church conflict where it hadn't gone well and they're saying, are you serious? Like, I just want to be able to chill. I just want to be able to kind of exist. How would you encourage them or what would you say to them as they hear us talking?
I don't know, but can I tell you a story?
Yep. Even better.
The Lord, here, I'll give you a proposition and then I'll tell you a story to illustrate it, to answer this question. The Lord will bring you through what he wants to bring you through when he wants to bring you through it. And you can trust him with that. And I'll tell you a story. I'll try to be, unfortunately, I'll have to be vague. But literally yesterday, heard this today. Someone in our church got a dream, and they get dreams. They get these kinds of dreams, and it was essentially about someone who has church hurt or something in their church background.
Yeah.
That has kept them from the church. And they were wanting some counsel, like how do I approach this? What should I do with this?
Yeah.
And my counsel was the Lord gave this to you. Certainly pray about it. But it sounds like you're probably supposed to go talk to them about it. Now, this person probably didn't have this on their radar at all.
Yeah.
To face whatever church background or church hurt they're facing, or church conflict, or whatever, church abuse maybe. Yeah. And yet the Lord is going to stir that up because he wants to heal. Yeah. And so I just think there's like two ways to look at that. One, people should not feel pressure to be to seek healing in every possible way right now.
Yeah.
And feel that sort of pressure that sometimes you can feel when it's like, man, I just can't figure this out, and I just don't know what's wrong with me, and I don't know this, and I don't know that, and maybe some counselor or some overreaching pastor is trying to push them towards that. Yeah. So don't do that, maybe.
Yeah.
But then also, maybe you have been numbing it, maybe you have been escaping it, maybe you have been walking away from it, maybe you have been ignoring it, and the Lord in his kindness will come after you and say, today I want to start healing. Yeah. And so I would just say, let's just trust the Lord with that then. And as we spend 7 months in a letter that is every week going to stir up some mess in some people and maybe not in others, we're just going to trust when he does that. Yeah. And receive that as mercy and grace and an invitation from the Lord to heal in some sort of place.
Really good. Yeah. Yeah, it's a paradox.
It is a paradox.
Healing is something that happens in the Lord's timing, but also there are things that you can do, things that you can pursue to see that healing come about. Right? It's not one or the other. It's not you just wait for the Lord to do it. It's not you try to speed it up and do it really fast. I'm waiting on the Lord and I'm pursuing. I'm reading His Word. I'm praying. I'm in community. I'm talking with folks. It's both, because ultimately we can't bring about the healing. But we can pursue him in the midst of it. So, okay, so just a couple practical things and then we'll get out of here. For folks who are listening to this, read the whole letter in one sitting. It takes about an hour. And so find a day, find a night where you can read through. You've done that.
Done what?
You've read through the whole letter in one sitting?
I have.
Yeah. Was it helpful?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see connections and themes that you wouldn't see if you're trying to read it over the course of a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is fun to think about the Bible in terms of like, this was one letter.
Right.
It wasn't divided up into chapters.
Right.
Yeah, that happened later.
Yeah.
Okay, so read through the whole letter in one setting if you're able. Bring things to your city group like we talked about. So don't process things alone. I keep referencing the care meeting I had right before this, but one of the things that she said was, I just feel alone in this. I feel like when I come to church on Sundays, nobody knows what's going on, and I'm putting on a mask and I'm faking it. Please don't do that. We've all been in churches where you had to do that. You don't have to do that here. So please don't do that. And then you recommended it, The Cross in Christian Ministry by Carson. Another one, Conscience by Naselli.
Okay.
Heard of that one? And then there's a commentary for the nerds by Schreiner, if you want to read that one.
Sounds like Pastor Nathan recommendations.
Yeah, I think Pastor Nathan came up with those last two there. So that's it. That's 1 Corinthians. We are looking forward to it. Thanks for tuning in. Engage. Like I said, I gave out my email earlier, but we want to hear your questions on social media. We want to be available. We want to do this together. And so thanks for tuning in, and looking forward to the next 7 months.
That's right, man.
In 1 Corinthians.
Let's go.
Let's go.
All right.